Not everyone knows this, but the third season of The White Lotus was not supposed to actually be filmed in Thailand. And that fact affects the Ratliff children's storylines. Spoilers ahead, you've been warned. Mike White wanted to take this particular cast of characters and instigate some of their responses, their ideas about themselves in specifically a Japanese cultural setting. Obviously, that didn't happen, so let's get into why. From the very first episode of this season, the Ratliff children are arranged in the manner of a very famous pictogram. The White Lotus official Instagram even posted it as a hint of what's to come. In every season, there's an arrival scene, right? Where they're on some special boat, they're on some special whatever, and they are VIP guests that are showing up. And what we first have here is the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And where does this come from? A Japanese maxim that uses sound play, this play on the sound of the words used to say that, to invoke these monkeys and to speak the wisdom of the saying. Here we have see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So Mike White, long before the show happens, is scouting, right? He stays in Thailand while he's exploring different parts of Asia, especially Japan, and he gets sick and he has to go on this special nebulizer. When he's on that nebulizer, he didn't sleep for a long time. He's breathing in all this stuff, and he said it was like the whole season came to him. And that was when he realized afterwards, oh, I can't do what I want to do in Japan. Specifically, some of the cultural elements, they're not clicking with what I want to say about these families. It's better if we just keep this in Thailand. So we thought, okay, later, whatever it was I wanted specifically to do in a Japanese setting, we'll get there eventually. But was he abandoning the entire philosophy and the two major ideas he wanted to dive into? No, he didn't. Were there monkeys all over the season too? Yep, we all saw them. Well, these monkeys, right, in the pictogram have a ton of different variations and explanations across Asia based on different people and different groups interacting with the maxim over time. There are two major ones, the Western modern version of it and this strain of Buddhist thinking that we focus in on here. Someone like Piper Ratliff, who is coming to Thailand to seek enlightenment and understand her form and her place in the world, would understand this Buddhist thinking of, look, you don't speak, say, or participate in evil actions or words or thoughts that harm you and harm other people in their souls. Everyone else on the boat would probably take the more modern Western version of this that we've co-opted, where we say you deal with all manner of impropriety by turning the blind eye. You just don't hear it, you just don't speak it. Basically, mind your business. When you actually look up this maxim, one of the things that comes up is this sign that was supposedly over the Manhattan Project when they were developing the nuclear atomic bomb. And there's the words, what you see here, what we speak about here, what we do here, you don't tell anybody else. Now let's talk about the first read all of us probably got when we were introduced to this family. You get the sense from just seeing how even the parents interact with the children that there's a lot of turning the blind eye here, right? We have Victoria, who doesn't seem to fully allow herself to comprehend the vile things her son Saxon is saying. You have Timothy, who is refusing to look at his own misdeeds in the financial problems and how he speaks to his business partner that he did this sneaky thing with. You have the children all teasing, ignoring, and antagonizing each other, and the whole family is kind of held together by this way of either ignoring or deliberately misconstruing what they just heard to keep some kind of peace. They all close their eyes to some extent as to how their lifestyle impacts other people. They, like Piper, lack a level of self-awareness even when they think that they have it. Now, remaining good at the Southern Society performance requires adhering to this version of the maxim. What Piper is seeking and what Lachlan seeks, even when he says things like, what if this life is just a test for the next one, is hopeful in the sense that they want to know more, they want to be a bit more enlightened, they want to be a bit more connected to each other. Maybe what they're doing isn't all there is. Can they become new and can they pass the test by refraining from the actions, the evil thoughts, words, and deeds that are offered to them as normal in their class? What built crazy tension with this picture and with this scene is that we were wondering initially, is this the warning as to what they're going to see, hear, or say, or what they're not going to hear, see, or say in regards to the dead and the dying, and who is responsible for that? Or was this instead a presentation of their forms, their narrative identities, and what they would eventually return back to? Turns out it was a little bit of both. Piper, realizing the cost of her rebirth from society princess to an enlightened, connected person, returns right back to the role her parents gave her. Lachlan, in a pessimistic form that some of you have mentioned has an undertone in this entire show, takes on the form his brother presented to him in the beginning as a usurper and as an abuser. Now, I would say his brother presented him a specific form of wealthy white masculinity. And I say white and I say wealthy because so much of American society depends on how much money you can have and how that impacts how the law decides to treat you. And if you are someone who could do something and still maintain a sense of social innocence. There are lots of Black wealthy families who would deeply discourage their sons from even saying or hearing or discussing the kinds of things that Lachlan and Saxon were discussing as possible venues for their masculinity. Saxon, in a shocking twist, is the one who accepts this other form of choosing to look at the evil, look at the ways of his living. He's reading a book Chelsea gave him because at this point he has seen the bottom and the final destination of what his philosophy is, and he does not like it. Are we saying he's fully, truly changed and he's transcended? No, but he's curious, right? He's curious about what could be out there for him instead. The Ratliff children ultimately do not speak, hear, or see anybody else's death except their own spiritual one. When they arrived, they were each on the precipice internally of something new or something different. By the time they leave, that's either died or changed in radical ways, and they have not necessarily been totally transformed, but rearranged. I would love to know your thoughts and how you felt watching these three during this season, and if it matched up with any of your expectations.